Good morning, Corpus Christi, Coastal Bend, and listeners worldwide. Welcome on in to another edition of the Sunday Sports Rush, right here on News Talk KEYS 1440 AM and 98.7 FM. I am your host, James Espinosa, joined by my good friend, co-host, producer, running the mothership. It is Adin Ducker.
What's Gucci with it?
We also have our good friend who is sitting in with us from Crossroads Clinical Research. It is the one, the only, the Dallas Cowboys / Texas Tech fan. It is Jerry Plemons.
Good morning. I got to say right off the top that you last week asking radio legend 95-year-old Dotson Lewis what hentai is the single greatest moment in Sports Rush history. I've been laughing all week about that. So kudos, great job.
Hey, I was just presenting evidence to the jury, and I made sure that all my bases were covered.
Yep.
Had to make sure the judge was aware of that sort of animation.
Out of pocket. God.
I did go back and listen to that because I wanted to see how that played off. And I was like, wow, even myself, I couldn't believe I said that to Dotson Lewis.
I was more shocked about the Dotson's ruling on the first case with the Alter Bridge song.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
It was fun to have the judge, the jury, host of the Veterans Roundtable, Dotson Lewis, with us
Go back
last
and
week.
listen to it if you haven't. It's radio gold.
It's on our Spotify, Sports Rush. Just go ahead and search that, and you will find us there. All of our episodes archived for you. We got a pretty packed show today. As you heard, Jerry's in the house. Tons of college football talk. Yesterday was week 1. Yesterday, a trio of Texas teams didn't quite live up to their billing. We'll dive into that a little bit later on in the show. We do have some NFL discussion because next week is the first Sunday of the NFL season. This is actually the last Sunday without NFL football till mid-February. So think about that. We're almost there. We're almost to the starting line of the NFL season. So we'll give you some NFL predictions later on. We also got some Major League Baseball talk. The AL West is still pretty tight. Astros have been struggling against the Yankees. Rangers lose. Mariners win. What's going to happen? Who's going to make the playoffs? All of that and more, including some Texas high school football talk for all of you local diehards out there. We got you covered here on the Sports Rush, episode 131. If you want to get in on the text line, make sure to do that. 361-882-5397. 361-882-5397. Right now, though, let's go ahead and let's dive into what happened yesterday afternoon up in Austin because the Longhorns took on Rice. And it was a 37-10 victory at the end of the day. Love using that phrase, at the end of the day. It was a 37-10 victory. But if you look at the micro of the game and you really start to peel back some of the layers, you might be asking yourself right now, you might be telling yourself, hey, I wasn't too impressed with what I saw yesterday. The Longhorns were a 35-point favorite on the spread. They did not cover that spread. Good teams cover, or what's the saying? Good teams win, great teams cover. Longhorns didn't cover. They still won, though, which is great. But if you dive into it, Jerry, if you dive into it, Adin, you would have noticed yesterday that the Longhorn offensive line struggled a tad bit, that Quinn Ewers in the first half looked like the Quinn Ewers we saw a lot of last year where they just couldn't finish drives. In the second quarter, the Longhorns had 3 drives in Rice territory. All 3 of those drives ended with Burt Auburn field goals. Not converting into 6 points against Rice, is a little bit concerning, especially when you're going to Tuscaloosa next week playing against Alabama in a hostile environment. It's a tough scene.
It's a tough scene. You got it going in the second half, but that first half looked like is this the same team that you expected to see at the beginning of the year?
And it's the team that, when we made our college football predictions a couple of weeks back, I flippantly picked them to go undefeated in the Big 12 and to be one of the college football playoff teams, one of the top 4 teams. Now, you could say, James, you're an obvious Texas homer. Yeah, maybe I am. And you know what? I'll own it. Yeah, I am. I am a Texas homer. I love the Longhorns. I try to watch every single game. I support that team. But I'm not exaggerating when I say that they do have the talent to go undefeated. They do have the talent to possibly be a playoff team. I think that is the ceiling for them. Now, will they reach that ceiling? Time will tell. And yesterday, in the first half, when they took a 16-3 lead into half against Rice, I kind of had some slight concerns going on saying, hey, I did not expect it to be this close at halftime. And I think that's a very fair and valid concern that myself and a lot of other Longhorn fans probably had.
And you're going to learn a lot next week. Which team is going to show up?
It's going to be it's going to be exactly.
You're going to know your prediction if it's going to come true next week with Alabama on the schedule.
Yeah, exactly, Jerry. I said they'd beat Alabama. I said they'd go undefeated.
Well,
361-882.
Very ambitious.
5397. 361-882-5397. What are your thoughts on the Longhorn game now that we are in the morning after, now that maybe some of your knee-jerk reactions are out of the way? What are your thoughts on the Longhorns' performance against Rice yesterday afternoon? 37-10 win in the season opener. Now, the first touchdown did come in the first quarter, and Texas was down 3-0. So Texas had to drive down. It was a 6-play, 75-yard drive, and Quinn Ewers hit Jonathan Brooks, who is from Hallettsville, Texas, who's one of the part of the Brooks family of Texas high school football legends in this state. Hit Jonathan Brooks for a screen pass. Here's Craig Way on the Texas Longhorn Radio Network.
Keelan Robinson in motion left, rolling left. Ewers swings it back to the right, called by Brooks. Through a slot, 35-30. Jonathan to the 20. Say goodnight to it. In for the touchdown, Jonathan Brooks. Back the opposite way, little backside screen, and it rolls for 37 yards. And the first Texas Longhorn touchdown of 2023.
Yeah, just a beautifully executed play.
So there we go. The legendary Craig Way on the call. Love to hear Craig Way's call. So energetic, so passionate. So that was the first touchdown. As I said, 16-3 at the half. But then the Texas offense did wake up. They scored 3 touchdowns in the third quarter to blow the game wide open. By the time the third quarter was over, it was 37-3 Texas. Rice gets a touchdown late from Luke McCaffrey. Does that name sound familiar?
Is he related?
He is the brother of Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, okay.
He plays for Rice. He scored a touchdown yesterday on a 15-yard pass from JT Daniels, who's on his, 5th college team?
I've lost.
He's like a college journeyman,
Yeah.
and now he's the Rice starting quarterback.
I was going to make a leprosy reference, but it went over my head. So anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, so that's what happened. 37-10, Texas wins. Adonai Mitchell, A.D. Mitchell, the former Georgia receiver, scored his first touchdown yesterday, a 9-yard pass from Ewers in the third quarter. Jatavian Sanders, the big tight end, had a 44-yard pass from Quinn Ewers where Sanders was just wide open, broke away. He is such an athlete also. He's going to be pretty scary.
Yeah, I remember he played both sides of the ball in high school.
At Denton Ryan, I believe.
And he was originally looked at as a DN prospect, and start converting him, and now he could probably be a first 3-round tight end.
I was going to say he's probably going to be an NFL tight end. And then the last touchdown of the game for Texas, Quinn Ewers, a 1-yard quarterback run, 9 plays, 54-yard drive. So was it the prettiest of games? No, it was not. And if you have any reactions to that, get in on the text line. I want to hear it from you. And you can also get in on my Facebook, James Espinosa. We actually have Jaime in here. Jaime says, O-line needs to make adjustments. Rice was getting in there. You're right. That was one of the main concerns. So if Rice is able to bring it on their blitz packages, if Rice is able to get pressure on Quinn Ewers, what's going to happen when that front 7 of Alabama has their ears pinned back and you're going against all SEC, all Americans, potential first-round picks? I'm sorry.
It could be bad.
I'm a little bit nervous, Jerry. I don't know if you can tell.
Bad, yeah.
I'm just a tad bit nervous because yesterday wasn't the best result. I thought it was going to be a little bit better than that, but I guess a win's a win, and I guess you should be a little bit more thankful.
And the first game of college football season is kind of a preseason game.
It really is. It really is. And you're right. Got to work out the kinks. So there we go. I thought Tavondre Sweat played well for Texas. I thought Byron Murphy and Alfred Collins, the defensive lineman, played well. They put a lot of pressure on JT Daniels, especially Tavondre Sweat. At one point, Tavondre Sweat, the big DT, took out 3 Rice Owls in one play. 3 of them just blew up the whole play. And the Longhorn defense was really the highlight of the game. They held Rice to just 3.5 yards per play, 176 total yards on 51 official plays. And they also held Rice to just 27 yards rushing, 1.1 yards per rush. So if anything, Texas's defense did play quite well, and they look to be as hyped as promised so far through one game. They lived up to the billing through one game. And then, of course, you could say at the same time, well, it's just Rice. So what can you really take away from it, right? I get it. I am knee-jerking. I'm overreacting. I know Adin has something to say back there.
I mean, they did what they were supposed to do, and at times they didn't look that flawless either, but, you know, they did what they were supposed to do. I know what you're going to say, James. Well, look at Tech, Baylor, and TCU.
Yeah, but look at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
What did they do?
Oklahoma put up 70-something on Arkansas State.
And we'll talk about those other games later on in the show, but, I mean, at least, you know. At least they didn't lose. I'll say that.
Let me ask you guys a question.
As Jerry said earlier, Bama's going to be the real test.
And forgive me if my voice is hoarse. I did broadcast 2 high school football games this past week, not to brag. But,
also,
you know. So, also had a pretty fun time yesterday with my brother.
Labor Day weekend festivities.
Yeah, a little Labor Day weekend. I'm playing hurt, but I'm doing it for you guys. But a question, all right? Based on Texas' performance yesterday, are you confident that they could go into Alabama and win that game?
Not in Alabama. Alabama at home is probably the toughest draw in all of college football.
Okay, I'd say that's fair.
I know recently Georgia's been dominant, but
Georgia,
but
I mean, there's
Alabama at home has always been a juggernaut, no matter what.
There's a lot of fortresses in college football. LSU, you know, Tuscaloosa, definitely up there.
Even Clemson at one point had a
Death Valley. They're the fake Death Valley. The real Death Valley's LSU. I mean, just saying.
Yeah, I get.
Who was calling it Death Valley first?
I guess LSU was fine, but
that's my point. Jerry, your thoughts?
Is it possible that the team was kind of overlooking the Rice game, kind of looking ahead to Alabama, and that's the reason why they didn't play as well?
I think that's possible, and I also think, and you brought this up earlier, that maybe they treated this one game as a preseason sort of game, and they didn't really show too much. Maybe they played more vanilla than what they can. You know, maybe they played more vanilla and not as, didn't put as much on tape, maybe for a reason. Maybe not to give Alabama a lot to see on tape. So maybe there is that possibility too. Maybe they did hold back just a tad bit so that way Alabama doesn't have all of their game plan on tape right then and there for week 2 of the season. So maybe that is a possibility. Maybe they did overlook Rice a little bit. Maybe they did get punched in the mouth. But the thing is, though, in that 37-10 win yesterday over Rice, Texas did face a little bit of adversity, which if you were to ask Sark, hey, would you want your team to face some adversity in the first game against Rice? I think you'd say yeah, because you want to see how your team reacts to that adversity. You want to see how your team reacts to getting punched in the mouth or getting a shot to the stomach real quick, right? So I guess you could take that positive away from the game if you're looking at it from a glass half full perspective or glass half empty. I always get that confused. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's whichever one you want.
It's whichever one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but which is the one that's more positive?
yeah, your glasses yesterday weren't
half full's more positive. So there we go. Glass half full perspective.
Your glasses yesterday weren't half empty. I'll tell you that.
No, they were completely empty after a few. So
you're about 2 more glasses away from sounding like that chick. Remember when we were at that WWE event behind us?
Yes.
What did they say? She looked like a combo of Easy and like a
Easy E and who else? You say it.
Oh no! I just remember. I'm not gonna make the comment.
Okay.
Yeah. But you know what I mean. Yeah.
I know what you mean. So we had fun, and Texas wins 37-10. So we'll stop it right there. If you have any thoughts on the Texas win, get in. Longhorns are 1-0. When we come back, we do have the 920 news, and I got some audio to play from Brett Yormark, the Big 12 commissioner, because he talked tough last week. But this week, he walks it back. Interesting. 920 news coming up next. Keep it there. All right. Sunday Sports Rush episode 131. James Espinosa here. Adin Ducker behind the glass. We got Jay Plemons. And in studio with us, it is Will Waddill. You might know him, or you probably do know him, from The Bob Jones Show. He is the producer of The Bob Jones Show. So all of you guys who call in to The Bob Jones Show and try to get your opinions on the air, That's the man you have to go through.
And I'll say this with a straight face. He's a better producer than I am. Big praise.
Hold up. There's something up with Will's mic.
Anyway, well, while we fix Will's mic, R.I.P. Jimmy Buffett, one of the all-time greats, known for making these classical tropical party anthems. And this song, Margaritaville, is a theme song in my Cavasso side of the family. And
nice.
My great-grandmother just turned 93 yesterday, and her name is Margarita as well.
So if you're out there right now at 9:22 in the morning on this Labor Day weekend,
drink a margarita.
Get that margarita poured up, baby.
Yeah.
It in honor of Jimmy. There's not a guy out there who didn't like to party more than him. And like if you listen to all his songs, he's just about being on the beach and having a good time. So good times. Hopefully now he's on that big beach in the sky, sipping a margarita in a very angelic way. Fitting tribute to Jimmy Buffett. We have Will in here. Will, let's try the mic again.
Is it working? Hello?
No, not really. Adin, I don't know if you could come assist us real quick. While we get Will figured out, we will jump into the 920 news, Adin. So go ahead and help us out with that. We have the 920 news.
There's a lot of news.
And now the news.
Just some local notes here. Javelina football, Jay Plemons, down in Kingsville.
They did great.
They got a victory yesterday in their season debut up in Colorado. They played Colorado Mesa, went all the way to Grand Junction, Colorado, which I hear is quite lovely up there. And the Javelinas get a 30-10 win. 1-0 on the season. Next week, they got their home opener down in Kingsville, where they will play West Georgia. So shout out to the Javelinas for getting the 1-0 start. A 30-10 win in which the defense had a touchdown, special teams had a touchdown. Awesome stuff. You love to see it from the Javelinas. Great work to Mike Salinas, the head coach down there, and all the guys out there.
This community is better when Kingsville has a great football team.
I would say so. It's been quite a while.
But when it was great, it was like some really good fever for it.
It was, and hopefully Javelina Stadium for the home opener next week is pretty packed. I would love to see that. I would love to have the Javelinas back once again. Moving on, our next story. Brett Yormark, the Big 12 commissioner, had some comments yesterday, guys, talking about his comments he made at the Texas Tech, I guess, what was it, Jerry? The Texas Tech
foundation rally,
banquet, get all the guns up. We're Texas Tech, guns up. Get them all riled up, right? So he said in that he wants pretty much Texas Tech to beat Texas on Thanksgiving Day or Thanksgiving weekend whenever they play in Austin. Well, yesterday, Brett Yormark decided to take back what he said. And I just think that's kind of funny. Go ahead and play Brett Yormark's remarks, Adin.
I mean, the only thing I would say about my comment last week is, I learned many years ago you speak to your crowd and you have fun.
Oh.
And that's what I was doing. I was speaking to the crowd at Lubbock. They were excited about the season. And I think college football is all about having fun. And I was having fun with the fans at Texas Tech. And that's pretty much it.
Wow. He was just having fun. Oh, he was just having fun, and guess what? When everybody called out his dumb ass, now he's going to take it back?
Is that really taking it back?
What do you mean? How is that not taking it back?
I just feel like he admitted what he said, and that was the reason why he did it, because he was talking to the crowd. Yeah. I know there's underlying reasons why he said that. Don't get me wrong.
So he pretty much admitted right there on that audio to whoever can access that audio, he pretty much admitted, all I do is pander to the crowd I'm in front of. Because he's fake. Because he doesn't mean what he says. He didn't mean that last week because he was just pandering to Texas Tech. Trying to get a crowd reaction, a cheap pop. Brett Yormark is a freaking clown.
I do.
There's a little blue tear going down your nose right now. Blue blood tear going. I can see it from here.
So, do y'all see what I'm saying? Did he pander, Jerry? Jerry's wearing a Texas Tech shirt right now. Go ahead.
He totally pandered to that crowd, of course. But that's what he's going to do. He's butthurt about what happened with UT and OU. Everybody in Lubbock's butthurt about it.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
I'm just saying.
Have fun with it.
It's so funny. Oh, I was just having fun. It was fun to get those guys in Lubbock all riled up.
Nothing else in Lubbock to be riled up
Yosemite
about.
Sam wannabes.
Yeah, and I do believe there's an underlying reason. I mean, there's a little bit of animosity for UT and Oklahoma in there. I mean,
There's a lot of animosity. Not
A
just
lot,
a little
I
bit,
mean.
a lot.
I'm playing the nice guy here. Why am I playing the nice
Why are
guy?
you playing the
Why?
nice guy?
You
I don't
never
know.
do that.
You don't have
I
a
feel like I
horse
have
in
to
this
counter.
game.
I feel like I have to counteract when James is all riled up. You know.
Will, what are your thoughts on this?
I have some nice thoughts and non-nice thoughts about it.
Go for it. Spill them out. This
Let's
is a
see.
sports
Okay,
rush.
So basically, I'm a huge UT fan, diehard UT fan, diehard, and they did good last night. They did really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good against Rice. Really, really good. But that's pretty much it.
Okay. What about Brett Yormark and him being a freaking clown and him freaking taking back his comments? I want to hear the hot take from Will.
Again, I have no nice things to say about it.
Okay.
Let's just say I could get fired for saying all the words I want to say about him.
Okay, we don't want you to
Yeah.
get fired.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
please, Will.
We don't know how the
I'm
Bob
gonna
Jones
keep
show
it-
would function without Will.
Please do not.
It's I want to say just PG-13 that I'm not a fan of him.
Okay.
He's just pondering, like you said, to his fans.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
He's just being fake.
He's just being fake.
That's cool. He's
Yeah,
being,
but next year you're gonna in UT and Austin, you're gonna have the exact same rally saying about how we're in the SEC and how those people in Georgia and Alabama are all a bunch of yahoos. You're gonna have the exact same thing's gonna happen there.
But you know, the funny thing is, A&M's just like that.
Yes, they are.
Yes.
They're just like
yes.
that. They're just
This is
Look,
what makes college football great.
That's a solid point.
I'm
Will.
going to say this. Next year, I'm already ready for this. I am ready to become SEC. SEC. I'm going to be that guy.
Yes, you are.
I'm going to chant SEC whenever we're smashing on former Big
So
12
you're
teams.
gonna ride the coattails of Bama and Georgia, pretending that y'all are okay.
I won't root for them. I'm just going to chant SEC when Texas is smashing on a non-conference opponent, like a Big 12 team or an ACC team or, I don't know, UTSA out of the American Athletic Conference. It's going to be fun to just have that
But those are the only ones you're gonna get.
superiority complex.
There you go, right there.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think that's it. All right, 920 News. That was fun. We do have Will Waddill in the house now that we got his mic all situated. Jerry Plemons is with us. Adin is with us. The show is rolling on. If you got any more comments about Texas, how the game went yesterday, some concerns you might have, hit us up on the text line, 361-882-5397. I want to hear from you guys. When we come back, excuse me, geez, Louise, it's a struggle this morning. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit of Texas high school football. We'll dive into that, and we'll recap, and we'll read your comments. Stick around. It's the Sunday Sports Rush. Sunday Sports Rush, episode 131. James, Adin, Jerry Plemons, and Will Waddill in the house. Pleasure to have all you gentlemen here with us this morning. Pleasure to have you with us this morning, wherever you're at on this Sunday morning. 361-882-5397. Get your takes into the text line. You could also listen to us on 1440keys.com or the 1440 Keys mobile app. Download that. Take us anywhere you go.
A quick question about the app. Do you have the app with you?
I do have the app.
I use the app a lot too, surprisingly.
I check it out, especially whenever Dotson, Lewis, and them are on Saturday mornings, the Bad Blonde Show, any kind of coverage we have, even some Bob Jones from time to time. It's fun to hear Bob just kind of go off in his Bob Jones sort of way, if you catch my drift. So, yes, download the app. Do that now. We do have Jerry Plemons in the house, Crossroads Clinical Research. Jerry, give us the latest on what is happening with you guys.
So, flu shots. We all get our flu shots. Well, hopefully most of you all get our flu shots every year. How about you get your flu shot this year and you get paid for it?
Oh.
So we're doing a new study. It's a new version of a flu shot we're testing. The only requirements, though, unfortunately, gentlemen, don't apply, is you have to be over 65 years old.
Damn.
So if you're over 65, you get your flu shot. Instead of just getting it and walking out, how about you get it from us, make a little bit of money, and then we see how you do. So give us a call. We're starting in the mid-September. So if you're over 65, need a flu shot, call us instead. At least get paid for it. Get paid for something that you normally is free. So 361-288-4668. Give us a call.
Thank you, Jerry. Awesome. So hit up Jerry Plemons, over 65, And
that's it.
And yeah, get your
And
flu
breathing.
shot and get
Hopefully you're
paid.
alive.
Yeah.
Gotta be alive.
Yeah, be alive, show up, be 65 years old, and hit up Jay Plemons. What was the number one more time, Jerry?
361-288-4668.
Awesome. And thank you to Crossroads Clinical Research for sponsoring our show. Been longtime sponsors of us now. And we appreciate y'all guys so much. So let's go ahead. And I'm going to dive into the text line real quick, Adin and fellas in here, because we got some takes on the Texas Longhorn game. I got Frank in here. Frank hits us up, 361-882-5397. He's giving some of his observations of what he saw from the Texas Longhorns yesterday in their 37-10 win over Rice. So Frank is in here. Frank says, not what I expected from Ewers. Some of his passes seem to hang as opposed to getting where they need to be, if that makes sense. I don't know if I like the running back by committee approach, but whatever gets the job done. Wide receivers are deep. Defense could be something special. All right, I think I agree. Defense could be special. We saw it yesterday. The wide receiver room is probably the most talented room they have, and it's arguable that or the quarterback room, probably the most talented they have on the team. And yes, Quinn Ewers, what we did see yesterday, he did struggle on the deep ball. On the long, deep ball, the deep ball accuracy, something that plagued him a lot last season. We did see some struggles yesterday versus Rice.
Quick question. How much of a hook does he have this year?
Ooh, man, well.
Because he's got Arch in the background.
He has Arch. He has Malik Murphy. I mean, those two are chomping at the bit
If he
to
struggles
get some
next
playing
week,
time.
is he getting yanked?
If he has like a horrible game to where he's not performing and it's like first half and it's Texas is down by 14 or 20, yeah, I think he gets yanked. And I think you might see Malik Murphy first because you saw him yesterday. You saw Malik Murphy yesterday in the later portions of the game. So Malik Murphy is the quarterback 2 on the depth chart. Played yesterday. Arch didn't get a chance to play yesterday.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. I was like, someone told me it was like a third string quarterback. I was like, what?
He's,
Arch
I mean, yeah, he's the third string right now. But him and Malik Murphy are definitely
Neck and neck.
very close in terms of who is the backup quarterback. It's just Malik Murphy is the one that got the second team reps yesterday versus Rice. Yeah. They did not debut Arch Manning just yet. So good take right there from Frank. We appreciate you getting in. 361-882-5397. Let's go ahead and let's dive into some high school football talk because week 2 just concluded. We are News Talk KEYS. We are the MIC Sports Network, and we do bring to you each and every week 2 games. We have our Gregory Portland coverage, and then we have our MIC Sports Network game of the week. Well, on Thursday night, we had the privilege of calling the GP at Carroll game at Buck Stadium in the 53rd annual Battle of the Bridge, and you heard a deep sigh back there. I think that was Adin. GP wins 36-6. It was a closer game than expected, though, in the first half, and Will was there for this one. Will was running camera for us that night.
Without a doubt. First half, pretty good.
GP was up 8-6 at the half. Very sloppy game from GP. A lot of penalties in the first half. Couldn't get their offense going. Had 3 touchdowns called back due to penalty. So at the half, we're all thinking, damn, this is not the typical GP Wildcat team. Second half comes around. GP scores 4 touchdowns in the third quarter. Blows the game wide open. 36-6 final score. Colton Harrison had the big play in the third quarter, which really broke things open for the Wildcats. And we have the call from our very own Doug Kesterson, courtesy of us, News Talk KUIS and the MIC Sports Network.
Snap to him, fakes the handoff, pressure coming, steps up, going to fire the ball. He's got Colton Harrison in stride.
All right.
To the end zone, Colton Harrison. Touchdown, GP.
All right.
No laundry on the play.
So there we go. Harrison to the house. I believe that was 62 yards.
Yeah.
A bomb from Reed Dooms.
And I know we're home of GP, and a part of me was, hoping that this would be a competitive game. But as a Carroll alum, I was, rooting for Carroll, and that whole second half, it was like James and Jerry knows this. It was like that Nacho episode last season, Jerry, where it was like a slow punch to the face. You could see it coming, and they just hits you in the end. Like that was what the second half was for me, at least. I was miserable back here. But on the bright side, we are home of GP, and it was an impressive performance out of GP again. And they look. I know Flower Bluff beat a state-ranked Bernie in the top 5 state-ranked Bernie, but GP, I said they'd be undefeated in the regular season, and it's looking like that. They look like that team so far.
So
they're a little bit sloppy in the first half, though, of both last week and this week.
Yes.
They got to clean that up if they want to beat Flower Bluff.
Slow starts for GP so far, but they did beat Cow Allen. Final score 25-6. They did beat Carroll. Final score 36-6. Their defense has only given up a total of 11 points through 8 quarters of play. So I think you can say the GP defense is definitely one of the probably the key strength of this team. But the offense does have playmakers, and Colton Harrison had 6 catches, 130 yards, 1 touchdown. Blake Mitchell and Catalano each had 88 yards receiving and a touchdown as well. So pretty good night for the Wildcats. And moving on to some more area scores, we did have Laredo-Nixon defeating King on our MIC Sports Network Game of the Week on Friday night. Laredo-Nixon defeats King 27-14. And what was a closer game than I thought. King actually hung in there a little bit. They have a nice quarterback named James Milas, who, much of a scrambler, but, King's had their struggles over the years, guys. They have not been the best football program around the area. They lose 27-14. I also have another audio clip I want to play because somebody was on the call for that game, and that was me.
Yeah.
So here's my touchdown call from Hugo Ramos, who was our player of the game, who had 10 receptions, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns, a very deserving player of the game from Laredo-Nixon. Here's the call of his second touchdown, courtesy of us at the MIC Sports Network.
Gonzalez, he's in shotgun. He has Ramos to his top. He's looking that way. He's going to try to go that way. Is he open? He is right over the middle. Hugo Ramos having himself quite the half, and Gonzalez absolutely throws a dart to him.
So there we go.
Yeah, you and Marcus did a good job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Was that one of Marcus's first times doing color commentary on football?
He
did some last year,
He
right?
did some last year. He did a couple games last year.
Okay.
We did a playoff game together when Doug had Islander basketball or something like that. So,
but Marcus is, not saying that Marcus wasn't good. He was good his first year, but he getting more confident as you have more time on the radio. So good job, Marcus, as well, if you're listening.
There we go. That was me on the call. So just give me a little bit of a clap right there. Good job, James. Good job, James. Good job, everybody at the MIC Sports Network. More scores to get to. Veterans Memorial defeats Alice 34-14 in Alice.
Yeah.
That was hyped as the game of the week in the area.
Yeah, and that last year was a very close game. I think Alice even won, right? Last year? Or did Vets pull it out in the end? It was one of those really close games decided in the last minute. But Veterans Memorial, they look, I thought.
They're 2-0.
I mean, I had Miller as a favorite over them, but now it's looking pretty like a coin flip,
It's going to come down to Vets or Miller in that District 14-5A here in the Corpus Christi ISD area. So that's going to be a fun one. And we will have, what's the fun thing about doing the MIC Sports Network Game of the Week now? Is that we're going to have the chance to broadcast Miller versus Vets later on in the year. That's one of our games on our schedule. So we're going to get to see that high potent matchup right there. And that's happening at Buck Stadium. I think that's going to happen sometime in October.
That'll be like a 60-59 final.
Yeah, that might be a long night for us guys because all the scoring, all the stoppage of play, all the passing, it's not going to be a lot of running in that game. So might be a long night for us, but it'll be fun.
Let's just hope it's a Friday game.
No, it's a Thursday game. Oh. We don't have any more because all our games from this point out on Friday nights are Gregory Portland games. All the other games for CCSD are Thursday, so that's a Thursday night game. It'll be a late night for us. TM defeats Ray 36-9. TM moves to 2-0. Ray falls to 1-1. New Braunfels Canyon 35. Victoria East 11. That was an interesting result right there. GP plays Victoria East next week in Victoria. Miller defeats El Campo 35-7. Some more scores, and this one was kind of an upset in my opinion. Laredo United South 43. Flower Bluff 26.
Oh, wow.
And that one happened in Flower Bluff.
Laredo United, we played them. I played them my senior year, and they're actually they're fairly decent program.
Yeah.
We won in a shootout by a touchdown.
But the thing is,
they're not like it's not like it's an upset, but it's not like one of those alarming upsets because they're a good program.
They're not state ranked.
I know.
They're just their team. They're good.
That's probably one of those where Flower Bluff was off the high of beating Bernie.
Yeah.
And kids, you're high schoolers, you get naturally complacent. It happens when you're a young high schooler. That's probably what happened, and they're gonna learn. They're gonna learn for that, of course. So.
Beeville defeats Orange Grove 41-33. Sinton defeats Rockport. My goodness. Sinton defeats Rockport Fulton 52-21. Refugio defeats London 55-10. And those are just some of your scores from around the area in what was a pretty fascinating week 2 of the season. Next week, like I mentioned, on Thursday night, we will have Miller versus Laredo Alexander on our MIC Sports Network Game of the Week. And then on Friday, we travel to Victoria for Gregory Portland versus Victoria East. Cannot wait. The high school season continues. Our coverage continues. And thank you all for being along with us with that. That's going to wrap up this segment. When we come back, we have some Dallas Cowboys talk. I got Jerry Plemons in here. I got Will Waddill in here. I'm curious what these guys think about the Dallas Cowboys heading into the 2023 season. And I'm curious about what you think about them. So hit us up on the text line with your Cowboys takes, 361-882-5397. When we come back, we're talking the Star. So keep it here to the Sunday Sports Rush. Episode 131, Sunday Sports Rush. James, Adin, Jerry Plemons, and Will Waddill in the house. Star-studded cavalcade of radio host in here. I love it. Good times are being had with these gentlemen. 361-882-5397. We got some more reaction to the Texas game because y'all guys are loving or not loving what you saw yesterday. We got War Eagle in here on Twitter reacting to Texas 37, Rice 10. War Eagle says, not sure about the current status of Bama. Their time may be over. We will know more next week. And then he leaves a gif of Matthew McConaughey throwing up the horns. So,
they did
War Eagle's feeling confident. It seems like he's feeling a little confident going into the Bama game next week.
Well, he's also an Auburn fan, too.
That is true.
And Milroe did look good. I know it's against Middle Tennessee or something like that.
He had 5 touchdowns.
And he's like a linebacker playing quarterback. That dude is shredded. So, and Bama also had a top 2 class this past offseason. So
we will be talking more college football coming up in about 10 minutes. So we got our college football recap coming up at the top of the hour. But right now, I do want to dive into some Dallas Cowboys talk because the 2023 season is fast approaching. Mm-hmm. Next Sunday, we'll be having a Giants versus Cowboys preview right here on this show. We're giving all our hot takes. Who's going to win? Who are the X factors of the game? What do I think's going to happen? I don't care what you think. It's what I think. Everybody's going to have their takes. Jerry Plemons, we haven't had you in here in a while to talk Cowboys. First and foremost, your thoughts on the 2023 Cowboys heading into the season. Trey Lance, you weren't here for that one. The Trey Lance trade. I know you had some hot takes on that one. Go ahead and divulge whatever you need to, Jerry.
Well, on Trey Lance, I don't know what that was about. That move made absolutely no sense to me. It didn't, because you only have him for 2 seasons. That's not enough time to get him developed. And then if you do develop him after 2 seasons, he's free. So that just, I don't understand that move.
I'm going to agree with you on that. I like the trade in the sense that it's low risk, high reward for a 4th-round pick.
It is.
If it doesn't work out, all right, cool. Essentially, you're cutting your 4th-round pick, which is Trey Lance with this trade. But I agree with you, Jay. It doesn't make sense for Trey Lance in the trade because the timelines don't match up with that.
Best case scenario, he develops, he becomes a great quarterback in 2 years, and then you got to pay him. But you already got a guy you're already paying in Dak.
Yeah.
So you can't pay both. And you can't trade him because he's going to be free.
And the Cowboys want to extend Dak Prescott.
They have to extend
to
Dak
lower
Prescott.
his cap.
They don't have a choice.
Yeah.
He's $60 million against the cap next year.
Yes.
He has to be extended or else CD flies.
And for any of you Cowboys fans who say, well, why don't they just cut Dak Prescott and make Trey Lance a starter? You can't, for the fact that if we just brought up, if you cut Dak Prescott, he's going to go $60 million against your cap, dead money.
Dead money.
And therefore, like Jerry alluded to, you won't be able to sign CeeDee Lamb. You won't be able to sign Micah Parsons. Those guys will walk. And then what? You're going to have Trey Lance as your starter?
No, we'll have Caleb Williams as our starter.
Or that too. Yeah, exactly, because the Cowboys would probably stink. So, okay, we got the Trey Lance thing out of the way. Any more thoughts on the Cowboys that you've had that you've wanted to get off your chest?
I'm excited about the team, but I don't want to go dive full force into the
okay.
Because
you don't want to get your hopes up.
I don't want to get my hopes up. And we'll talk about this later, but there's a better team in that division, I'm afraid.
Interesting.
That's just going to be so hard to get past.
We will have our NFL preview.
We'll talk about that more later.
At 10:30.
The roster's good. I like what they did at wide receiver. Brandon Cooks going to make a big difference on this team. I'd like to think, and we're going to find out very soon, that a lot of Dak's problems were because the receivers were not doing what they were supposed to be doing.
Interesting.
Whether that's the case or not, we're going to find out this year because Brandon Cooks knows how to run routes.
And we will have that game broadcasted right here on News Talk KYS. We are the home of the Dallas Cowboys. Next Sunday night, we will have that for you. Will, any Cowboys thoughts you have about the team heading into the 2023 season?
Okay, let me make a statement here. Let me clear it out. I am not a Cowboys fan.
Ooh!
I am not. Just want to say that just in case my mom's listening.
It's okay.
Because if I mention Cowboys, she literally will hunt me down and be like, "Really, you're a Cowboys fan now?"
Yeah.
I'll be disowned. But so far they look pretty good.
Okay.
It's going to be an interesting season.
Do you think the Cowboys have what it takes to possibly make a deep run in the playoffs?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay.
There's a I want to say 60-40.
60-40 deep run. That's fine.
Wait. Who's your team in the NFL?
Yeah.
It was the Saints. I stopped watching the Saints since Drew Brees retired.
Okay.
That's understandable. I did that with Big Poppy and the Red Sox.
Do you have an NFL team?
No. At the time, no.
We're getting to know Will Waddill here. 361-882-5397. He does not have an NFL team, but he is a diehard Longhorn fan, everybody.
So the defense, did they fix they couldn't stop the run last year. We hope Mozzie Smith was going to be able to do it, and he has not looked good
Hasn't
at all.
had the best preseason,
cannot
Jerry.
get off the snap to save his life, it seems. So how are they going to plug that hole?
And I did talk about this, I believe, in the last week or two about Mozzie and how it's preseason and we can't expect him to be all-pro defensive tackle right away. Going to be a little bit of growing pains. I know you kind of disagree with me on that front, which is totally cool, but we haven't seen Mozzie yet with the ones on the line. We haven't seen Mozzie yet with a DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons on either side of him, which can really free him up a little bit. I mean, to be fair, he has ran with the twos for the majority of the preseason.
And
yes.
some of the fours, it seems.
So, going up against the ones of the other teams who have no issue playing their guys in the preseason, but the Cowboys didn't play anybody in the preseason. Is that a concern for you?
That's
that
a
the
huge
Cowboys
concern.
did not play any of their major starters on offense in the preseason or defense?
That's since Tony Romo broke his collarbone, they made the decision that they're not going to play anybody who's anybody in the preseason, and I think it shows a lot in the first game they play. The Cowboys have always struggled in the first game of the year, and I think they're going to struggle next Sunday night.
361-882-5397. Get your Cowboys takes in here to the text line. Yes, I could already see it, guys. I could already see it. First half, they're going to be struggling to put everything together. Giants will be up by a touchdown. Giants might even be up by 10 points. Everybody on Twitter, now known as X, is going to be panicking.
Yes.
I'll be panicking because they don't have any rhythm, and it's going to happen.
It's going to happen, and maybe by the fourth quarter they'll get some drive together and pull it out, and we'll be all wondering what's going on with these Cowboys. Well, they're sloppy.
Any thoughts on the Kelvin Joseph trade to the Dolphins? They did bring back another cornerback, and I'm pulling up his name right now, Noah Igbinoghene, I believe that's how you say it. Kelvin Joseph just didn't work out.
He just didn't work out. He was showing some promise as a slot corner, but the Cowboys have Jordan Lewis coming back. The other cornerback is more of an outside guy, so they just wanted to get an outside guy that they have more of a need there than they do on the inside. So Kelvin Joseph, he just never got his head in the game. He even admitted he didn't get his head in the game until just recently. So send him off to give him a fresh start, see how this other cornerback can do. And so far, Mike McCarthy's had nothing but praise for the new guy. So
it's kind of the Igbinoghene, who they're bringing to Dallas, they're kind of the same player.
Except for one's outside and one's inside.
Yeah, one's
now.
outside, one's inside. Noah Igbinoghene is an outside corner. Kelvin Joseph's more of an inside corner.
Yes.
I believe I got that correct. And both were pretty much needing fresh new situations. Like I said, they're both kind of the same player, needed new situations. The trade, I'm not mad at it. I'm kind of disappointed, though, because, Kelvin Joseph's second-round pick, you expect a lot more out of those guys, and just didn't really go out there and grab that brass ring, so to speak.
And it was right in front of him.
He had the opportunities. Adin, got any thoughts on the Cowboys?
As far as me, I'm actually high on the Cowboys this year and what they could do. I guess that's a little tease from when we talk about the NFL predictions. Just because, well, I get a little bit away. We haven't had a repeat NFC East champion since the Cowboys in 06-07.
Yeah.
It's always been somebody different. So
we haven't
leaving that out there.
We haven't had an NFC East repeat champion since the Bush administration?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about. Mm-hmm. Interesting. So you're feeling a little bit high on the Cowboys.
If they stay healthy.
I feel pretty good about the Cowboys.
Yeah, pretty good.
I feel good. I feel a lot better this year than I did going into last year, and that's because last year they kind of exceeded my expectations with with what they did. Disappointing end in San Francisco, of course, but this year, with the way that roster's constructed, I just feel like this team has what it takes. I will say has what it takes. I will not go that full-fledged, they're going to go to the bowl, but I will say they have what it takes to at least get beyond where they've been in the past 27, 28 years.
You can safely say the roster is better now than it was a year ago.
I would say so.
There's no question.
Absolutely. Yes. And, with Mike McCarthy now calling the plays with this Tex Coast, West Coast offense, with Schottenheimer being the offensive coordinator, they're kind of working as a duo. I like that. I like Dan Quinn back. Micah Parsons going into year 3. I think we're about to see some things where he's just going to be a freak out there.
Been a beast in training
Maybe
camp.
17, 18 sacks. I mean, seriously, 15-plus sacks is not out of the realm of possibility for Micah Parsons.
That's expected, I think.
Yes, an all-pro type of season, a legendary type of season. So if you're a Cowboy fan, lot to be excited about. And if you have any predictions on how the Cowboys are going to do this season, you could also hit us up on the text line, 361-882-5397. That's going to wrap up our Cowboy talk. Just catching up with Jerry, getting his thoughts on all the little stories that we might have missed from the past year, or from the past month that you've been off with us. And also, shout out to Gil Brandt. R.I.P. Gil Brandt passed away at age 91. He
transformed the game.
Really did. He created the Cowboys computer, which is pretty much the first database for analyzing scouting and stuff like that. And a lot of Hall of Famers who went through Dallas were found by Gil Brandt, the late, great Gil Brandt. So R.I.P. to Gil Brandt, Cowboys legend. That's going to wrap up our Cowboys segment. Our number 1 is in the books. Coming up next, we have our college football week 1 recap. You're listening to News Talk KUIS Corpus Christi. We're broadcasting live from the Americana Arms Studios. Big city selection, small town prices. This is KUIS Corpus Christi. Hour 2 coming up next. Stick around. Good morning, Corpus Christi Coastal Bend listeners worldwide. Welcome into hour number 2 of the Sunday Sports Rush right here on News Talk KEYS 1440 AM and 98.7 FM. I am your host, James Espinosa, joined alongside one of my great friends, producer, co-host. It is Adin Ducker.
Cougars, I love Cougars.
Oh, you sure do, baby. You sure do. We got Jerry Plemons in the house from Crossroads Clinical Research. What's up, Jerry?
Good morning. I just learned about hentai last week.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds really interesting.
Did you tell me you did not look up?
Please tell me you didn't look it up.
Did you type in the word at all? And what is
Well,
hentai?
you mentioned it. I kind of wonder, what's this about?
This is an educational show, by the way. We do try to educate our listeners on all things sports and pop culture. So
it was used in a court case last week.
It was. I asked Dotson Lewis last week.
It was.
You know Dotson,
Yes,
right?
he knows Dotson.
I asked Dotson Lewis, Dotson, do you know what hentai is? And Dotson kind of had a little smile on his face.
And Will, it was completely out of pocket because it had to do with Overwatch 2. It had nothing to do with.
It had to do with animation and people's like of animation.
That's
some people like
Will's
that.
face was my face last week when I was listening to this.
We do have Will Waddill in here, producer of the Bob Jones Show, and pretty much an outstanding, jack of all trades here at 1440 Keys and the MIC Sports Network. So we appreciate Will being
if I
here.
call Bob Jones on Friday and ask him what hentai is, would you let me on the air?
I'll literally laugh, and then I'll tell him, and then laugh hard in the studio, and then
that'll be it for your job.
I'm gonna tell y'all something that I've always wanted to do on the Bob Jones Show for Friday. whenever it comes to Listener Friday, because he has, people call in and whatever topic you want to talk about. I've always, and now that I'm divulging it, it's never going to happen, but I've always wanted to call in with a fake voice and just kind of do a fake character talking to Bob Jones and just trying to throw him off sides. Like I call in as a super left person, and then I'm just trying to get Bob Jones off sides and have a little debate and argument with him. I always wanted to try that. Now, Will, you know my idea. So
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to happen.
Well, the thing is, when people get him riled up, it's that after that, I have to deal with it.
True. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that's the main reason why Will's a better producer than I am.
Yeah. 361-882-5397. We do have some breaking news. Let's go ahead and hit that sounder. And it's involving the Dallas Cowboys.
Breaking news.
According to Adam Schefter of ESPN, Cowboys and right tackle Terrence Steele have reached an agreement on a 5-year, $86.8 million contract extension that includes $50 million guaranteed. The deal has a max upside of up to $91.8 million. The contract has been confirmed by his agent, Eric Burkhart, and Rock Nation Sports. So, Terrence Steele locked up, and that was one of the contracts that they've been wanting to try to get going.
They love Terrence Steele, and he's a great run blocker, so they're paying him.
Great run blocker, and last year when he got hurt, the run game did kind of falter just a little bit down the stretch. Terrence Steele, his story is amazing.
Yeah.
He is from San Antonio Steele High School. He was, I believe, undrafted.
He was undrafted out of Texas Tech.
Yeah, he's a Red Raider. Jerry loves that. And now he has a long-term contract. That's awesome for Terrence Steele. So breaking news right there, Terrence Steele signed long-term up to $91 million for 5 years.
They threw him in there as an undrafted rookie the first game of the year when he started.
Trayvon, yeah, you're right. Just go ahead.
He
Aiden.
went to Steele?
Yeah. He went to San Antonio Steele High School.
I might have played against him. Let me see what years he was there.
Maybe.
Let me
While you look that up, I'm going to go ahead and read what the Cowboys have done this offseason. We will dive into college football. We might have to extend that into next segment as well due to this breaking news. But in case you just tuned in, Terrence Steele has signed a 5-year, $91.8 million contract extension with the Cowboys per Adam Schefter. Now, what the Cowboys have done this offseason, Trayvon Diggs, 5 years, $97 million. The Terrence Steele contract. Zach Martin, the 2-year, $36.85 million deal. The Tony Pollard franchise tag. The Cowboys have made some moves this season in trying to lock up their guys. They also got the Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. They're up for extensions. And let's not forget that Micah Parsons becomes eligible next year. So, Cowboys still got some work to do to lock up their core, but done a pretty good job so far, I'd say. I would give Jerry Jones and Steven. I'm very critical of these guys at times, but I give them an A for locking up these guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, well, go ahead, Jerry.
No, go ahead.
No, I did. So I looked it up, and he was on the field. He was their starting left tackle. So I did see him play.
Wow.
I played tight end, though, so I went against his buddies that were on the defensive line. That was not a fun day.
Interesting.
Yeah. That was not a fun night.
Let's talk some college football. Let's get right into it. Yesterday was week 1 of the college season, and boy, oh boy, primetime Deion Sanders and those Colorado Buffaloes pull off a 21-point upset. They were 21-point underdogs, and they defeated TCU yesterday up in Fort Worth in what can only be described as an offensive showcase between both teams. Defense was definitely optional, but Colorado 45, TCU 42. Deion Sanders gets a victory in his debut as a head coach in a Power 5 conference with Colorado. And Shador Sanders, his son, 510 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He was 38 of 47 against that TCU defense.
And already, it's very early in the season, but already in the Heisman race, I think he's already number 1, right? In the Heisman race.
I guess after 1 week.
All the other good teams played cupcakes, so I get, this was a standout performance, against a team that, even though they lost some players, was in the national championship game last year.
The impact of Deion Sanders, guys, on this program, it was questioned. He brought in, and I have it right here in front of me.
Didn't he gut the whole roster?
Gut the whole roster, 86 new players.
Yes.
He used the transfer portal to his advantage. A lot of people didn't like that. A lot of people said, Deion's making a mockery of the game. Wait, really? Deion's making a mockery of the game? Not all you boosters used to give money under the table? Y'all weren't making a mockery of the game? Don't throw stones from a glass house if you're hating on Deion Sanders because he used the portal to his advantage, and guess what? Checkmate. He won yesterday, and he won in a pretty big way in his debut. Now, Colorado also has another stud player named Travis Hunter.
Ooh.
Who's a wide receiver and cornerback.
Well, he was a number 1 recruit a couple years ago that went to Jackson, State.
Yeah, who Deion took from Florida State, brought him to Jackson State, and then he followed Deion to Colorado. Travis Hunter played 151 snaps yesterday as a two-way player. 11 catches, 119 yards, 1 interception, 1 pass breakup. Stud. Guys, yes, if you're just getting introduced to Travis Hunter, get to know his name. He's probably going to be a top 10 pick at some point in the NFL. I mean, let's just face facts. Guy is an absolute monster out there from what we saw through one game.
I mean, Colorado's going to look really fun when they enter the Big 12, and they're going to fit the all-offense, no defense moniker. So
I do like the fact that Colorado and TCU, they will be conference foes next year. So now this kind of starts maybe a possible rivalry between Colorado and TCU because TCU will have to go to Colorado next season. That's going to be fun. So
I mean, how many years of Travis Hunter do they have? Another year after this?
Maybe another year because
if he's eligible.
I don't think he's draft eligible this year.
He's not.
He's not. Next year he'll be draft eligible. So yeah, big win. Let's hear from Deion Sanders because Deion Sanders had some interesting post-game audio yesterday after the Colorado win where he called out a reporter who evidently didn't pick Colorado to win or didn't pick Colorado to do that well this season in general. Here's Deion pretty much calling the reporter out in the postgame.
All right. What's up, boss? You believe now? You hold on. Oh, no. Do you believe in that? Huh? Oh, no. I read through that bull junk you wrote down. I read through that. I sifted through all that. Yeah. Oh, no. Come on. Do you believe? You don't believe. You just answered it. You don't believe. Next question. Yeah!
Do you believe now?
Do you believe that?
Jerry.
Yeah, I love the guy. His team is well coached. They're well disciplined. They perform when they have to. I think Deion is. You just do not go against Deion.
It was amazing to watch yesterday, and you're right. I watched from the pretty much first snap all the way to the end. And when Colorado came out, defense forced a 3-and-out, and then they scored a touchdown on their first drive. I was thinking, whoa. I was like, okay, Colorado came to play today. And very impressed with his son, Shakur Sanders. His other son also plays defense for the team. Had a pretty big hit laid on a TCU wide receiver yesterday. He's a safety, I believe. So, man, it's just incredible. Like, can we doubt Deion?
We can't.
Because he's done it at Jackson State. He got the win yesterday in Colorado. He's proven that he can recruit players to any place that he coaches at. It's time to stop doubting Deion and just start kind of supporting him, man. He's good for college football.
Yeah, man. And this was one of the rare cases where nepotism actually paid off here.
And look, Shedeur Sanders is a good quarterback. I mean, it's not like he just got the job because he's Deion's son. He's actually good quarterback.
I mean, to be fair, there were questions because, for a first time playing, against a top FBS team.
Yes.
And, passed with flying colors. Deion and his family basically went to TCU and was like,
that was your best shot. You lost.
Yeah, they lost. Upset Sonny Dykes and the TCU team that was just in the national championship last year. Now, I get it, different TCU team.
They're still ranked 17.
Yeah.
Still top 25 program.
They lost a lot of players, and that's what TCU fan is saying this morning. We lost our guys. We don't have our guys. Chandler Morris was our quarterback. Well, whose fault is that?
Well, I thought it was Max Duggan.
Max Duggan's gone.
Yeah, I know he's gone. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was him.
It was Max Duggan,
Yeah.
but Chandler Morris is the guy last year. And yesterday when I was watching the game, fellas, Chandler Morris was making some plays. He was doing good, but then he also made some boneheaded plays, and I was thinking, there's no wonder you lost your job to Max Duggan last year.
Yeah, but I feel like TCU's offense tried to keep him in the game. It was back and forth and later on in the game.
Look,
Colorado's defense needs some work.
Yes,
Let's just say that.
I was gonna say no defense was played. So if you're gonna take marks off the Colorado scorecard this morning, defense, red X. They did not answer that question right yesterday, and they're gonna have to do better when they start facing the USCs, the UCLAs of the Pac-12, the Oregons of the Pac-12.
That's right. They play USC.
The Pac-12 has 6 top 25 teams ranked as we speak. The one year that the Pac-12 is really deep turns out to be their last year ever as a conference.
What a complete fumble, man.
That is just sad to think about. And some more
probably
college... Go ahead.
Yeah, probably the most intriguing Pac-12 season we've seen in a decade. And
in some more Pac-12 news, Cal, Stanford, they're going to the ACC along with SMU. So there's only 2 teams left in next year's Pac-12, and that's Washington State and Oregon State.
They have to go Mountain West.
They're going to have to do something.
That's why they can't just be by themselves unless they're independent.
They can be by themselves. If you look at their deal, they're going to have like 20. They get the only payouts from the money next season.
Technically, they could be a conference of just 2 teams, I believe, for a year.
For a year, and they get like a $28 million payout because they're the only 2 teams in the conference.
So they could be by themselves next year, just them 2.
I mean, it's possible.
And like Jerry said, they'll get a lot of money from the TV contract. So maybe they do that, maybe they don't. But impressive win from Deion Sanders, from the Colorado Buffaloes, from Shadur Sanders and company out there. They set the college football world on fire yesterday. And you know what? I'm pretty excited to keep up now with the Colorado Buffaloes. They play Nebraska next week. Matt Rule's Nebraska, who's 0-1. They lost to Minnesota 13-10 in a pathetic effort.
That was a Nebraska loss right there, if I ever seen one.
So next week, Nebraska, Colorado from Boulder, the first home game. That should be some scenes up there in Boulder. We're going to go ahead and continue our college football talk into the next segment because Jerry Plemons is going to have to explain something to me. Jerry Plemons is going to have to...
I got a call. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to leave a little early.
He's going to have to explain how did Texas Tech lose to Wyoming yesterday.
Ooh, that's going to be good.
So we're going to get Jerry Plemons' explanation after the break.
Going off. See you guys later.
Sunday Sports Rush episode 131. It's James, Adin, Jerry Plemons, and Will Waddill in this morning. Good to have Will here. Good to have Jerry here. Good to have you guys here with us. 361-882-5397. We got Andres on the text line. He's weighing in to the Texas 37, Rice 10 game yesterday. Texas starts 1-0. Not the cleanest game in the world, but a victory is a victory as they head into Tuscaloosa next week for their big game against Alabama. Andres says, took the offense a whole half to wake up. As a fan, I expected more. The final score looks good, but they can't afford to get off to that kind of slow start versus Alabama. 100%. Yep. You nailed it, Andres. Absolutely agreed. Final score looks great, but the final score is not telling the whole story here. You start peeling back the onions or the layers to these onions, and offense struggled in the first half. That is a valid concern.
So basically, it's like on paper, it sounds like a good score, but behind it.
Yes. When you look into the micro and actually dive deep into the game itself, there were some things that Texas did yesterday or didn't do yesterday that have you concerned as a fan going into playing a Nick Saban Alabama team, which if you show up in the first half like you did in Tuscaloosa, 1, that crowd's going to eat you alive. 2, that Bama front 7 on both sides will smother you. I get Bama has a new quarterback. Jalen Milroe had 5 touchdowns yesterday versus whichever directional college they played in Tennessee, all right, state, whatever, directional Tennessee State College. I get it, but in that hostile environment, things can go sideways really quick if you have a slow start against Alabama. So something to keep in mind.
Those people are crazy too, man.
Oh, dude, nothing good comes out of
Alabama.
Yeah, wrestling their family members and whatnot. And,
Okay, guys.
Again.
All right, let's throw out every Southern stereotype out there. Why don't we?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Anyway.
He wants to.
Anyway.
Let's do some college football because yesterday, boy, oh boy.
My bad.
Real quickly, let me run down what the top 10 did. All right? Number 1, Georgia beat UT Martin 48-7. Stop me if you have any comments about any of these. Number 2, Michigan beat Eastern Carolina 30-3.
Cupcake.
Number 3, Ohio State beat Indiana 23-3.
They looked very shaky on offense.
Kyle McCord, their quarterback. We talked about this. They got a new quarterback. How are they going to adjust to this? McCord, 239, 1 interception.
Yeah.
Number 4, Alabama, who we just discussed, 56-7 over Middle Tennessee. Okay, it's Middle Tennessee. Let me throw some respect on them. They're at least I've at least heard of them.
Mid-Tennessee.
Jalen Milroe, 194 passing yards, 3 touchdowns passing, 2 touchdowns running. So that's going to be a problem for Texas next week. USC, 66. Nevada, 14. Number 7, Penn State, 38. Number unranked West Virginia, 15. Drew Aller, their quarterback, looked really good yesterday. 325 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's going to be a stud. Watch out for Penn State. Ohio State, new quarterback, Drew Aller, Penn State. Just saying.
Penn State's always one of those teams that
Penn
are like,
State could be
they're a top 10 to 15 team, but they can never be like an elite team.
They could be a surprise in the Big Ten this year.
Could be,
Penn
but
State.
They've never broken through that wall to be an elite team.
And number 10, Washington, 56. Boise State, 19. That wraps up your top 10 of what happened yesterday. Now, what the hell happened in Texas yesterday? We talked about TCU losing to Colorado. They were a 21-point favorite. Baylor lost to Texas State.
That's probably the biggest.
They were a 26.5-point favorite.
That's probably the biggest embarrassment of the losses.
And then last night, as I was sound asleep, half drunk, or full drunk, Texas Tech loses to Wyoming in double overtime, I should say. Texas Tech was a 13-point favorite. They were on the road in Laramie. Tough place to play. I'm trying to give Tech as much credit as possible. Jerry, what happened to your boys?
Well, I couldn't watch the game because it wasn't available anywhere I had access to, so I was following along on the apps as best I could. And, Wyoming's got a pretty good team. They got a good coach. It's a tough environment. Tech always starts off slow. If it was a Division II team, they probably barely would have won. I really think Wyoming would have given Texas a hell of a game if that wasn't their opponent. But it was a tough loss. Texas Tech outplayed them offensively big time. But Wyoming, they made a key fourth down.
Yeah.
They made the big plays when they had to, and that happens.
And that's fair. That's a fair take right there. And I give Texas Tech a hard time. I give Jerry a little bit of a hard time about Texas Tech.
Let's be
I was
realistic.
gonna say, you give him a hard time. I give him a way more hard time.
Texas Tech has nothing. They're not going to win the Big 12. They're not going to be in the national championship.
Really?
They're not going to win the Big 12.
Yeah, come on, James, ramp it up.
Hold up. I thought
ramp it up, James.
From what I've heard from Texas Tech fans, not you in particular, but just fans who support Tech, Joey McGuire's cooking something up.
There you
This
go.
is the year that Tech is going to take the Big 12. When Texas and Oklahoma leave, Tech is going to be the big dog in the Big 12. You can't even beat Wyoming.
There you go.
What? And let me talk about Baylor, too. Let me talk about TCU. Y'all guys want to be the next Big 3 in the Big 12, and y'all are losing yesterday as double-digit favorites?
So
cook 'em, man.
Miss me.
You're the 3 little brothers that have been pushed around. Now the big brothers are going off to a bigger, better place, and now that you think you're king of the castle.
The big brothers are going off,
and you're just let us have our moment to enjoy because this is it.
Well, to be fair, there's nothing really to enjoy right now.
Yeah, it was tough. Look, tough. Let me just say this. It was a really tough look for those 3 teams who have all this animosity against Texas and Oklahoma, who want them out of the conference so bad. Really tough look losing as double-digit favorites. Just super tough.
Now, Jerry, to be on your side for this one point here, I know a lot of UT fans still hold animosity over the Michael Crabtree play. So, yeah.
That was just so sweet.
I've blocked that out of my memory. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, so if any fan base that has more grudges than you, maybe.
Okay, but
maybe,
that game was our Tech's only moment in the sun compared to the tons that UT has had.
Now, look, Texas Tech did beat UT last year.
They did.
In Lubbock.
Yeah.
So I am salty off that. Look, let me be real. I get salty when Texas loses to teams that they shouldn't be losing to. All right? Let's just be real. I get a little salty off that.
And that's
what's gonna. And
that's just me being a fan. I'm being a fan.
And that's what's gonna happen this year. I have Texas winning the Big 12, but they're not gonna make the playoff. They're gonna have a couple of losses that are gonna keep them out.
We shall see.
I don't know about that.
What do you think, Texas?
I think we're gonna win. We're gonna win a couple games. I mean, we're gonna lose probably two,
But they're not gonna be in the playoff because you lose 2 games.
No,
They won't be in the playoff if they lose 2. No, they won't. That won't happen. If they go undefeated, maybe. And that's even maybe if they go undefeated, because who knows what the committee's going to say about the Big 12 and all that.
Because a 2-loss SEC team is already going to have the advantage of just being the SEC, you know what I'm saying?
I got you. I want to shout out Ryan L. on the text line because he's in here. Ryan says, "Gig 'em Aggies. Connor W. looked like Joe Burrow yesterday." Connor W., he's talking about quarterback Connor Wegman for A&M. A&M won 52-10 over New Mexico.
That was a dirty one.
So shout out to A&M, and Connor Wegman did look good. 236 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Wait, Wegman's gonna be a good quarterback for A&M. Simmer down on the Joe Burrow.
Ryan said he looked like Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow had the greatest season college football quarterback has ever had.
Yeah.
And you're comparing that. Yeah, simmer.
But I will say, Ryan, thank you for getting in on the text line. We love all our people who text in, even though Adin will crap on your takes from time to time.
Well, not just, everybody's takes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you don't discriminate. That's fair. You're very inclusive. Don't discriminate. You crap on everybody's takes no matter what.
Yeah, I'm like Arlie Ermy in Full Metal Jacket. You are all equally worthless.
Great reference. I love that. Ryan, thanks for getting in. A&M did look good. I will give you guys credit for that. And Wegman did look pretty solid.
Man, it was a massacre.
So there we go.
A straight massacre for
that
one.
is going to wrap up some college football discussion. I still got guys weighing in on the Longhorns. I'll get to those after the break, but we will dive into some NFL. Season's coming up next week. Let's go ahead and let's make some bold predictions. Let's get our takes out there. NFL predictions coming up next. Stick around. It's the Sunday Sports Rush. Sunday Sports Rush episode 131. James, Adin, Jerry Plemons in here. Will Waddell's in here. Appreciate these gentlemen for sitting in with us on this Sunday morning. Thank you guys for getting in. 361-882-5397. Get your takes into the text line. We got George D in here. George says, "Good morning, my friends. Congrats on show 131. Love all your takes on sports, and I am a true fan of the number one sports talk of the Coastal Bend.
Hell yeah.
Go Astros, rock on, guys." That is signed by George D. George, you are the man, baby. Love that. Love the support. Spread the word. If you're out there, spread the word. Let everybody know where we're at. If you missed the show, any portion of the show, you can find us on our Spotify at Sunday Sports Rush. Search it up. Give us a follow. All of our podcasts are uploaded by about 1 o'clock each and every Sunday, so you can enjoy as you please.
Go ahead, Will.
No, so real quick, George, I want to say something. You get steak and potatoes. You ever heard of that saying before, steak and potatoes?
No, I haven't.
So, and usually it's in football, and if a player does something really, really good, they get steak and potatoes.
So George gets steak and potatoes.
He gets steak and potatoes.
Hell yes,
he deserves it.
You deserve it. We got Jerry Plemons from Crossroads Clinical Research in here. Jerry, let the good people of the Coastal Bend know what exactly is happening with you guys at Crossroads Clinical Research.
Well, every year about this time, a lot of us go get our flu shots. It's an important thing to do. And normally you walk in, you get it. You walk out, insurance pays for it. But how about instead of this year, when you get your flu shot, you leave with a check. You leave a little bit of money. So this year, instead of going to the pharmacy, instead of going to your doctor to get your flu shot, come see us starting mid-September, in a couple of weeks. You will come see us. We get you your flu shot. You get a check. So we're doing a study. We're testing a new form of a flu vaccine that we think is going to be amazing, and we need your help. The only requirement, though, and sorry, you guys don't qualify yet, is you got to be 65 years old. So if you're over 65, that's the only requirement. You're over 65, need a flu shot, come see us. We'll get it taken care of for you. Get a little extra money for your pocket, too.
There we go. So there we go. Jay Plemons, Crossroads Clinical Research.
288-4668. Call us. Make an appointment. 361-288-4668.
Awesome. Thank you, Jerry, for being here and for sponsoring the show as always. Make sure you guys hit them up. Get that flu shot, baby. If you're 65 or older, protect yourself. So there we go. Let's go ahead. I want to dive into some NFL talk. All right? Dive into some NFL talk. I see you guys on my text line. I will get all of your responses read in the last segment here because I want to make sure I acknowledge all you guys. But right now, it's NFL. The last Sunday without NFL football is today. Let us rejoice in that fact. Next Sunday, we will be prepping for Week 1. We'll be giving our pick'em. We'll be getting ready for Cowboys and Giants. But we might as well just make some predictions while we're at it. Because why not? We're all prognosticators. Let's go ahead and let's do that. So, prediction time. Adin, I know you have some predictions. Do you want to go ahead and start first with let's go with some AFC predictions. Just give me your division winners for the AFC.
Okay, division winners. And I'll do the 4 seeds, my top 4 seeds. I got the Jags as the number 1 seed, 14-3. I
The
know.
what?
The Jags.
The Jags.
The Jags as the 1 seed,
As the
14
1
and
seed,
3.
wow.
Yeah, I'll explain myself
Well,
shortly.
Okay, go ahead.
The Chiefs as the number 2 seed, 14 and 3 as well. The Jags beat them in a head-to-head game in the regular season. That's why the seeds are the way they are. The Bills 13 and 4 winning the division, and I got the Bengals at 13 and 4 winning the division.
All fair. That's pretty fair.
The reason why the Jags have the number 1 seed is because not only is their division really going to be bad, the Titans are going to be mid, and then the Colts and Texans, they're going to finish top 5, probably worst team in the league in terms of the win-loss record. And then that division, that AFC South division, plays the NFC South this year. So you have a rebuilding Bucs team, and then you're going to have a Panthers team that's not going to be any good, and then the Falcons are the Falcons. You don't expect good out of them. And the Saints are going to be a good team, but it's one good team and 3 bad teams in that division. So they're going to play them, which is going to help them in the seeding case.
Which is going to bring their record up. So those are your division winners. That's awesome. I love that. Do you want to go into who do you have in the AFC, NFC championship? You want to go through the NFC, or how about this? Go ahead.
I mean, I can go through the NFC.
We can go with Jerry. Jerry, what are your thoughts on the AFC this year? Who do you see as the top dog? Who do you see as some division winners? Who do you got?
all right. So for the AFC North, I've got Buffalo. I think they're solid all the way around.
Yeah, but I see Buffalo winning the AFC East as well. I'll agree with you with that.
For the AFC South, Jacksonville, again, no competition.
Okay.
They're going to have a good year. I got some surprises for you the rest of the way.
Okay, go ahead.
AFC North, I like Baltimore.
Ooh,
I think Cincy, I think Joe Burrow, that hamstring, I think it could be hurting him all year.
Jerry.
I think Cincy's due for a little bit of a regression. So I think Baltimore, Lamar Jackson got his contract. They've got some good talent. Watch out for Zay Flowers. I think Baltimore's going to win that division.
I do love Zay. Zay showed a lot in the preseason. Yeah. That is a pretty hot take right there. What about your AFC West?
Here comes hot take number 2.
Uh-oh.
A team that I am big fan of this year is the Chargers.
Wow.
I think Justin Herbert is going to put it together. Their team is healthy. I think the Chiefs are due for a little bit of regression. That defense, they don't have Jones.
Chris Jones is holding out.
I think the Chargers are going to win that division.
Interesting. Those are some spicy hot takes. Yeah. Now, all right. I did not see those two coming with the Ravens and the Chargers.
But you can see scenarios where they can do that. So
very plausible.
I've got the Chiefs and Chargers in my championship game because the Chiefs will still make the playoffs, and I'm thinking the Chargers are going to the bowl.
Whoa! Jerry Plemons has the Chargers.
Justin Herbert's going to be MVP in that team. I think Kellen Moore, with a new team, with a fresh start, the Chargers offense is going to be unstoppable, and they have a good enough defense to hold their own. So Chargers are my team. The team is going to surprise everybody.
That's the team that's taking the next step.
Yes.
We finally see Justin Herbert take that next progression. I like it. That's interesting. I like that. I do like that. I like the boldness of it. And it might not even be that bold because of all the reasons he provided. This could be their time. Absolutely could be their time. All right, let me run down my AFC real quick, and then we'll get to Adin in the NFC, and we'll go around, okay? AFC, I agree with Jerry. I got Buffalo winning the AFC. I know everybody's high on the Jets. I get that. I just think Buffalo's the better team overall right now. Give me the Bills. AFC North, I'm not going to go with the Ravens, but I am going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals. I just think they're too good. I know Joe is a little bit injured. I still got them. AFC South, pretty much it's the Jags. That, for reasons already explained, it's going to be the Jaguars. AFC South is kind of weak. And then in the AFC West, give me I'm not going to go bold like you, Jerry, so give me the Chiefs.
Nice safe picks all the way around.
Safe picks. I think they're safe. It's pretty chalk. I understand that. Pretty chalk, but that's what I got. And representing my team for the AFC, who I think is going to go to the Super Bowl. Now, this one might be a little bit of surprise because they're not a division winner. They are going to be a wild card team, but they are going to go to the Super Bowl, and they're going to make a run to the Super Bowl. The New York Jets are going to the Super Bowl.
Oh.
The New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers are going to go to the Super Bowl. I did not pick them to win the division, but I am picking them to get hot in the later half of the season. I am picking an Aaron Rodgers run in the playoffs, a little revenge FU run to everybody out there. Give me the Jets in the Super Bowl, representing the AFC.
You think they have the 2020 Bucks thing going on? You think they'll be wild card and they make a run?
Yep, it's going to be a run. They're going to make a run. Rodgers is going to get hot. He's going to make a run in the playoffs.
I know. Will, what are your thoughts on AFC real quick?
My thoughts for AFC East is the Jets. AFC West is the Broncos. North.
Interesting.
Really? Man.
North, I have to go with the Browns.
Whoa!
Wow.
I'm telling you, Will's
Hey,
got some hot
I'm
takes.
not against that pick.
And the South, I have to keep it Texas. I'm going to go with the Texans.
Interesting. Okay,
Wow.
I like that. I like
So
that.
who's in your Super Bowl then from the AFC?
Jets. I'm gonna go
Jets. I like it. He's
Okay.
with me. Go for your NFC, Adin. Who-
Well, can I finish up my AFC real quick?
okay, go ahead.
So-
and then AFC, and then NFC.
So my wild card teams were the Jets 12-5, Ravens 11-6, and Steelers 9-8. I had the Chiefs, Ravens, and Jets winning. So the Ravens upset the Bills and the Jets upset the Bengals. And then divisional, Jags over Ravens, and I have Jets over Chiefs.
Yes.
AFC, I got Jags over Jets. Jags in there in the Super Bowl.
Jags in the Super Bowl?
Yes.
Whoa. So, but yeah, Jags over Jets in the championship.
I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have that Joe Burrow kind of run where he had a couple of years ago where he leads the team to the Super Bowl. And I think the Jags defense is going to improve too. So.
Okay, so you wrapped up your AFC.
NFC.
I'm gonna go to Jerry NFC, and we'll go around the table. Jerry, give us your NFC predictions, division winners, and then who's representing the NFC.
All right, we'll start with the NFC North for me. I've got Minnesota. I think they're a better team all the way around than Detroit. Detroit's getting there, but they're not quite there. NFC West, San Francisco, of course. They're going to dominate that division.
Yeah,
I
it's a pretty good pick.
NFC South, I like New Orleans. I think they have the most talent of anybody in the division. Though, watch out for Tampa Bay. I don't think they're done. I think if Baker Mayfield gives anything to that team at all, they might make a wild card
I kind of do like Tampa Bay a little bit this year, too. I really do. I like Baker. I've always liked Baker.
Yeah. And for the NFC East,
here we go.
I hate saying this.
You teased it earlier.
But it's going to be Philly. They got too much talent.
You can't go wrong.
I hate saying it. Kills me to say it.
And all right, so you got your division winners. Who is representing the NFC in the Super Bowl against the Chargers? Because you have the Chargers in the AFC. Who's representing?
I think it's Philly and San Francisco in the championship game. I don't think the Cowboys make it again. They let us down. It hurts to say.
Damn it.
And I think Philly is they're going all the way.
Wow.
Again, I hate stabbing myself in the heart by saying it, but they're a well-built roster. They've made all the right moves. The only question, I think, is their coach. I don't think the coach is very good, but I think with that talent they have up offensive, defensive line, they're just going to be hard to stop.
They do have a great front seven. They do have a stout offensive line. They got the weapons, man.
They got
and
the
look,
weapons.
Now they're experienced. They've made a run already. Jalen Hurts, they know what it's like to be there. They got the taste of defeat in a game that they could have beat the Chiefs. Like, they were up by double digits at the half before the Chiefs came back and made a run, and they were even up in the fourth quarter at some point. So, yeah, I mean, I could see the Philly pick, and as much as that hurts me, I can see it happening. Let me do my NFC real quick, and then we'll get to 8, and we might have to push this into the last segment of the show. So let me get to my NFC picks, all right? NFC South. I love me some Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Love me some Baker. Love me their defense. They still got a lot of talent offensively. Give me Tampa Bay. I think just structurally as an organization, they know what they're doing these past few years. And just because they lost Tom, they still got a lot of the other pieces. I love Tampa to win that division. NFC North. Give me the Lions. The Lions win the division. It's their time. It's golf. It's everybody involved with that. It's head coach Campbell. They're gonna have it. They have that team. They got a lot of young talent. Give me the Lions. In the NFC West, I just love this music, by the way. Gosh, I love this music. Give me the 49ers. They're the class of the division. Seattle will be on their tail a little bit, but 49ers are going to win it. I think the Cardinals are the worst team in football. Probably will be the worst team in football. And I think the Rams do bounce back a tad bit, but not enough. San Francisco wins. Now, NFC East. Cowboys win this division. The Cowboys are going to win it this year. As mentioned before, the talent, they're just as talented as Philly, in my opinion. I just think this year the Cowboys are going to not lose some of the games they lost last year. Some of those close, really tight games that they probably shouldn't have lost. Give me the Cowboys, man. I'm going Cowboys with this one. Cowboys are the NFC divisional champion. Now, who's representing the NFC for me in the Super Bowl against the Jets?
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Do not say.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
The San Francisco 49ers are going to the Super Bowl this year. It's their time. They lost in the NFC title game last year. I think it's either going to be Brock or Sam Darnold. One of those guys is going to be able to run the offense eventually.
Wait, you have the Cowboys finally making the NFC title game?
I didn't say who was in the NFC title game.
Oh, you didn't say yet.
I didn't say yet. But, yeah, give me San Francisco in the Super Bowl against the Jets. But I will say this. the Cowboys do get to the NFC title game but fall short.
I'll be happy with that.
All right. I real quick before we go to break, I'll run through. So then I have the Niners as the number 1 seed, 11-3. Cowboys win the East with a 13-4 record. I have the Lions winning the NFC North with 11-6 record. I'm high on the Lions, and I have more questions about the other teams. And I think the Vikings are going to take a step back. Saints, I'm high on them. I feel like if they just had a legit quarterback.
Whoa, Derek Carr is a legit quarterback.
Yeah. They were missing a legit quarterback last year. They could have won them a few more games. So I got them. I have the Eagles as the 5 seed, 11-6. They're going to finish a couple games back of the Cowboys, but they're still a playoff team. I have the Rams, 10-7. It depends on Stafford and Kupp's health. It's already looking shaky with Cooper Kupp, but I still think if fully healthy, they're a playoff team.
Okay.
I have the Vikings at the number 7 seed, sliding in, and so I have the Cowboys defeating the Vikings, the Lions defeating the Rams, and the Eagles defeating the Saints. I got the Niners getting revenge on the Eagles, and I have the Cowboys finally making the NFC title game, beating the Lions to get there. But much like you, James, they're going to run into the boogeyman again, and I feel like the Niners are going to be healthy this year, and the Niners are going to represent the NFC.
So you got Niners and Jags in the Super Bowl.
And I have the Niners winning the Super Bowl. I feel like they've just been a consistent team throughout the past few seasons. I think they're going to finally get their Super Bowl to solidify this team. I'm not saying they're going to be a dynasty or anything like that. I just feel like they've kind of like the Rams did a couple years ago, finally get that Super Bowl. So, yeah.
So there we go. Adin has his Super Bowl. Jags versus 49ers with the 49ers winning. Jerry and I have our Super Bowls. Will probably has a Super Bowl prediction as well. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Jerry and I will give our Super Bowl winners. Will give his Super Bowl winner, and that will wrap up our NFL predictions. One more segment with you. Stick around. Sunday Sports Rush. Sunday Sports Rush, episode 131. It's our last segment. James, Adin, Jerry Plemons, Will Waddill with us. Shout out to everybody who's gotten in on the text line. I appreciate y'all guys so much. Going to read a couple of them real quickly before we make our final Super Bowl picks. Luis is in here talking about the Longhorns game yesterday. Luis says a vanilla offense most of the game. However, lack of execution early on the offensive side. Defense looked like it's ready to go up against the big boys. Running back room looks legit, and Ewers needs to find a way to connect on deep balls down the field. He gives them a B- grade. Fair. All fair right there. I really do think so. We got Oren in here. This is the last one for the Texas talk. Oren says defense looks good. Offense just had some assignment issues. The line wasn't bad. They just blocked wrong gaps for the wrong man. Well, that's kind of bad, if you ask me. I think Rice showed them some fronts and packages they weren't expecting. Okay, so then game plan coaching wasn't that great. It's not uncommon for good teams to have first games like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like I hear some excuses in there, but all right, cool. It's interesting. It's interesting. Okay. So there we go. That wraps that up. Appreciate y'all guys getting in on the text line 361-882-5397.
Wow.
What?
What a shot.
What? What was the shot?
Never mind.
I mean, what? He said that the offensive line didn't play bad, but they were blocking wrong gaps and the wrong man. That sounds bad.
No, he said, that sounds like excuses there, just the way he said it.
Look, if the listening audience doesn't know this about me right now, I am unapologetic with my sports takes, okay? Sorry, man. I am 100%.
And normally I'm the ruthless one.
I'm 100%. I do appreciate him getting in, though.
Oh,
That's fine. But if you send your take in, it's liable to be read on air and for us to comment on it. So there we go.
Critiqued.
All right, Super Bowl predictions. Jerry, you have the Chargers and Philadelphia in the Super Bowl this year. Who's winning the Super Bowl?
Oh, man. I don't want to say this, but I have to. I think it's going to be the Eagles.
I know you're going there.
And I've got two teams. These are my self-destructing teams. Teams that I think New England, and I think oh, God.
Who are you talking about? Who are we talking here?
Oh, and the Rams.
Okay.
Those are the teams I think are going to be much worse than what people are expecting.
Interesting. So you got Philadelphia winning it. Adin had San Francisco beating the Jaguars in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Now, my Super Bowl is Jets and San Francisco. Part of me is just really wanting to pick the bad man, Aaron Rodgers. Part of me really wants the revenge tour. I have gone this far. I am
Do it.
stepping on that ledge.
Pick a different champion than I did.
falling forward with no safety net. Here we go. Jets win the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, Super Bowl MVP. I'm calling it.
You know, I was thinking like Jets.
It's gonna be close. It's gonna be a good one.
But I have to see it to believe it because I know they're gonna be a good team. But it's one of those like I had to see it to believe it with the Bucks, and they did it. So yeah.
Yeah. Who do you got in the Super Bowl, Will?
Well, I got the New York Jets, and I got the Green Bay Packers.
Whoa!
So
A little bit of a homer pick there.
So you think Jordan Love's gonna have an elite year? But, you know, look how he did in the preseason, basically.
He's got the.
He looked good in the preseason.
He did. I've been impressed with Jordan Love. That would be quite the story if the Packers move on from Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love just goes in there.
For the Packers,
leads them to the Super Bowl.
The cheese heads would just explode.
Yes.
I think the
Happens.
Packers, if Jordan Love is that guy, I feel like they're a year away or a year or two away.
The cheeseheads would cream.
It'll basically
cheese, cream cheese.
Yeah.
Cream
It'll
cheese.
basically be like you're dating a girl and then you see your ex at the club or at the restaurant. And you're like, oh, well, okay.
Yeah, I guess.
I guess.
She's doing all right.
She's doing all right.
Man,
Ryan's in here. Ryan.
Jets and Packers, the storylines that would create though, a bunch of cheesy storylines though.
Exactly.
Gouda.
That'd be some sour cream, some sour cheese on both sides. Ryan texted in. He has Steelers versus Cowboys Super Bowl.
Ooh.
Steelers, they're not there yet. In my opinion, they're not there.
But Tomlin he gets the best.
Yeah,
He's the best.
Kenny Pickett did play pretty well last year. I mean, for a rookie.
I mean, I had the Steelers sliding in as a 9-8 record over a tiebreaker between the Dolphins and Patriots. So that's just how it looked. It was a tiebreaker. I was like, oh, the Steelers are slid in there. Okay, because I did like an NFL predictor site.
Yeah.
With the schedule, and the Steelers, Dolphins, and Patriots all had a 9-8 record, but the Steelers somehow got the tiebreaker. So I was like, all right.
I tried to
Steelers.
do that site that Aiden's talking about, and it's where you pick every single game, every single week, and it tallies the standings. But it took too long. I was like, it was week 12. I'm like, okay, I'm tired of this.
Wow.
But, sorry.
I was into it.
I know. Well, you are into stuff like that.
Yeah.
Me, I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just gonna go off the top. I'm gonna do some research. I'll go off the top of the head.
But I wanted my numbers to look mathematically correct. I didn't want to throw like a record.
You're very analytical. Mm-hmm. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So there we go. Real quickly, we were talking during the break, and I was mentioning to these guys in here how I would act if the Cowboys even made it to the NFC not Super Bowl, the NFC Championship game. I would not know how to live for those 3.5 hours. It would be probably the worst experience of my life. Just the agony, every single play, every single call. If the Cowboys make the NFC Championship game this year, I might not make it to the Super Bowl. I might not make it past that game. I wouldn't know, guys. I told these guys, lock me in a padded room with a TV. I don't know how I would act.
If the Cowboys ever make the Super Bowl, Super Bowl Sunday is going to be hell on earth for me at Andrews.
Oh, my God. If the Cowboys ever make the Super Bowl, they might as well just cancel work the next Monday.
It's basically going to
just
be like
don't. No one's going to go, especially if the Cowboys were to win. Now I'm talking fantasy.
You know, I think our company would actually do that, have us take the Monday off.
You know what?
After the Super Bowl.
If the Cowboys won the Super Bowl, you know what I'd do? Or Cowboys made it to the Super Bowl or won the Super Bowl, you know what I do? I would convince Doug, who is our PD here at Keys. I would convince Doug, we need to go on the air right now. Like after the Super Bowl and just have like a Cowboys post-game Super Bowl show.
I mean,
that'd be crazy.
That couldn't happen because we are the home of the Cowboys and we would, so.
Just saying. That'd be fun. So there we go. That's going to pretty
Dak
much.
would have to be that elite quarterback I've been asking him to be. That top 5 quarterback when the Cowboys are struggling, you beat them with your arm. He's going to have to be that guy in order for the Cowboys to make the Super Bowl.
And can he be that guy?
And we talked about it in the break. We just watching the game, waiting for that shoe to drop.
Waiting for the shoe to drop, waiting for that flag, that fumble.
That pick six.
Yeah, pick six, whatever. Missed field goal. Mm-hmm. Anything, Mike McCarthy forgetting how much time's on the clock. I don't know, anything that can happen, anything that will go wrong could go wrong.
Trayvon Diggs getting burned on the one play.
There we go. Well, that was fun, guys.
Yeah.
Jerry, thank you for being here.
No problem.
Will, thanks for being here, too, dude. That was fun having you in studio. Aiden, great job as always. Listening audience, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, now if I need to take a break from our show, Will can come in.
Yeah. Will, come on and sit in. There we go. Our bench runs pretty deep here on the Sports Rush, and I love that. Thank you guys for getting in this morning. Thank you to Crossroads Clinical Research for sponsoring the show. Everybody who was here, y'all guys are much appreciated. For Adin Ducker, Jerry Plemons, Will Waddill, I'm James Espinosa. No more questions. We'll talk to you next week.